Good morning and welcome to Phonics for today. So this week we're going to do a little bit of revision. We talked about that yesterday. So our learning intention today is to revise sounds we have learnt so far. So we're going to be going back through all of the phase 2 phonemes that we have learnt so far, just to make sure they're really set in our heads before we move on to phase 3, because phase 3 is where it starts to get a little bit trickier. And we start to introduce more and more of the digraphs, which are the 2 letters that make a single sound. So it starts to get a bit harder, so we need to really make sure that these ones are cemented in our minds before we start. Okay, so these are the phonemes that we are going to be revising today. And you should know all of these because these are the ones we learnt right at the very beginning. So we've got S, A, I, N, M, and D. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some pictures. I want you to say all of these pictures, say all of these words, and see if you know which phoneme all 3 of these pictures start with. So let's say them together. We've got a sun, some stars, and the number 7. So sun, stars, and 7. So on your whiteboard or your piece of paper, can you write down the grapheme which represents the phoneme that these all start with? So the phoneme is, are you ready? And the grapheme is S, which is what you should have written on your board or paper. Did you get that one? I bet most of you did. Well done. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Okay, we've got 4 pictures this time, so let's say them together. We've got some drums, we've got a door, we've got some dynamite, and we've got a duck. Now be careful when you write down this grapheme, please, because it's one that sometimes is a little bit tricky. Okay, so let's give it a try. Are you ready? So the grapheme you should have written is a D, and that represents the phoneme D, 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 D. Well done if you got that correct. We've got a couple more of these. Now, what have we got here? We can see an ant, rather a large one. I wouldn't like to see one that big. An ambulance and an apple. So we've got ant, ambulance and apple. Which phoneme do these all begin with? Ant, ambulance and apple. You write the grapheme down if you know what it is. Are you ready? I'm going to write the grapheme up here. I'm going to go around, up, down and flick. So the grapheme is A and the phoneme is A, A, A. Now we've got 4 pictures again. We have got a teddy, a train, a tent and a turtle. And strangely, they're all kind of a greeny colour, aren't they? So a tent, a teddy, a train and a turtle. It's a bit of a tongue twister, which also starts with the same phoneme. T, t, t. You've got it. The grapheme is T and the phoneme is T, 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 T. I think this is the last one. So what have we got here? We've got some nuts, a nose and some numbers. What do those all start with? Nuts, nose and numbers. Do you know? a look. So we start at the top, we go down, back up, over, down and flick. So the grapheme is N and the phoneme is where we pretend we're like an aeroplane flying through the sky. Oh, that was not the last one. Let's see. Let's make this one the last one. So we have got 3 more pictures here. We have got a pin, a pig and a pan. A pin, a pig and a pan. So say those all aloud and see if you can hear which phoneme is at the beginning of all of those sounds. A pin, a pig and a pan. When you think you know it, write down the grapheme on your piece of paper. And some of you who are super clever, these are actually all CBC words, so you might be able to write the whole word. I wonder if anyone can write pin, pig and pan. I'd be really impressed if you could do that. Okay, so the grapheme, that's the beginning sound of all of these, is so the grapheme is P and the phoneme is P, 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 P. Did you get it? Wow, well done if you managed to get P, I, G, P, I, G, and pan, P, A, N, P, A, N, and pin, P, I, N, P, I, N. I'm really impressed if you got all of those. Okay, so now we are going to move on to writing some more words. Let me move on to a slightly smaller pen. Okay, so we've got 4 pictures here and each of them has a phoneme frame underneath. So they are all words that have 1, 2, 3 phonemes in them. So it's really important when we say the words that we try to hear the middle phoneme, because that's the one that sometimes is quite tricky. So we'll start off with this one. This man is the dad of these children. So the word that we are going to try to write is dad. Dad. We say it a couple of times. Dad. And then let's think about how that sounds. We've got D, A, D, dad, and that's represented by D, A, D. Did you manage that one? Okay, let's try and move on to the next one. So the next one here on this side is tap. Your water comes out of a tap. Let's listen for all those sounds. Tap. So we've got T, A, P, tap. And let's try and write the graphemes that correspond with that. T, A, P. Oh, sorry, that was a bit sticky. T, A, P, tap. Now down here, this is where you need to wipe your feet when you go inside. It's been very, very rainy today. So hopefully if you did manage to get out for a bit of exercise, you wiped your feet when you came back in on your mat. So mat. Does that start with mat? That's right. We've got our at, mat. Let's try and write that. At, mat. And the last picture on here, the last thing we're going to do today is write the word map. Now this is a pirate's treasure map. So map sounds a little bit like mat, doesn't it? So I only think one of the sounds has changed, and it's the N sound. So map. It starts with ah. What's that final sound? Map. That's right. P. Let's write that in. Ah. P. Okay, well done. If you'd like to do a little bit of extra work today, you could try to write a sentence about one of these words, or that includes one of these words. That would be really amazing. So if you manage to do that, please do upload a photograph to the Class Dojo, because I'm really, really blown away by what you are doing at home. So anything that you do, please do show me, because it's really made my day. And after school tonight, Janet and I sat down and we had a look together through all of the work that had been sent in today, and we were so proud of all of you. So well done, everybody. Okay, on that note, we will see you all again tomorrow morning. Okay, have a lovely evening. Let me find my clicker to click my camera, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.